Hello, everyone, and shalom. My name is Mayor, and I am a program officer with CJP, Combined Jewish Philanthropies here in Boston.
And my name is Kerem, and I'm based in CJP's Haifa office, and we are your co-hosts for today's workshop. So, bruchim habaim.
For 31 years, the partnership between Boston and Haifa has held a special place in the heart of these two cities because of the work that we have done to build relationships and partner together to address the needs of our two communities. Kerem and I oversee CJP's leadership development work in Boston and Haifa. Our work is focused on investing in young leaders like yourself and finding ways to make our two communities more connected, equitable, and resilient.
These are challenging times. There are ongoing health fears, political uncertainty, and economic crisis, and many other disruptive events. Every day, we choose to take positive action by reaching out to our partners across the globe to lend a hand, listen thoughtfully, and support each other however we can. We know that young adults are looking for opportunities to grow their networks and boost their career opportunities. And that's the reason we're hosting today's workshop.
We are incredibly fortunate to be joined today by Noah Bob Achayon. Originally from Haifa, Noah is the co-founder of one of Israel's leading job platforms. She's a brand marketing specialist, a networking coach, a community builder, and she is a leading figure in the Israeli tech ecosystem, working and offering mentorships to venture capitalists, startups, and global corporations. Until recently, she was the head of employee branding and internal communications at eBay.
So here's the plan for our 90 minutes together. First, Noah will spend about 45 minutes sharing practical and proven tips and strategies to boost your LinkedIn page, along with step-by-step instructions. Our goal is to have each of you to leave this workshop feeling confident that you have improved your online presence and can better expand your network using LinkedIn. Afterward, we will be sending you to small breakout rooms. Each room will have a mix of people from Boston and Haifa. And the goal is to take what you have learned and help each other improve your LinkedIn page. And finally, we will all come back together at the end to wrap up and hear Noah's top 5 tips for LinkedIn. It's totally worth it, so stick with us. Now that you know the plan, let's jump right in. Noah, the Zoom room is all yours.
Hi, everyone. It's a great honor and actually a true privilege. I'll dive right in just because I really value your time. And I actually want to start by thank you all because I'm also here in America. You could have lunch, and in Israel, you could have dinner or just spend some time with your family or catch up on work. And the fact that you chose to spend this, hour and a half together, I hope will be valuable for you all in whatever route or career path you have in store for yourselves. So thank you again for your time, and I will make sure to use it as best as possible. So our workshop today is very hands-on, so feel free to navigate between this page and your own LinkedIn and my also personal profile. I'm going to share example. I have no secrets. You can see the inside of my profile and others and so on. And we'll also get a chance to see others afterwards at the breakout rooms. So we're getting started right away. Our structure for today, we're going to have 3 parts. Hold on. Okay, yeah, we're going to have 3 parts for our session today. The first part, we're going to chat some about the LinkedIn platform itself. I assume that if you guys are here, you already know it's a platform you should use. Some of you maybe are using it. Some of you are kind of still wondering what's your password and and still in the process of the reset password, all are accepted. Okay, we're going to take you to the next level no matter where you start from. So we're going to talk a bit about the platform. I don't want to spend too much time there. You can also, there are plenty of blogs and YouTubes out there on the very, very basic. I actually want to upgrade your game here. So we're going to talk a bit about the platform. Later, we're going to talk about the profile. The profile itself has so many sections. So obviously, we're not going to cover every little thing, but I will make sure to highlight the 3 most important sections of your profile. Again, gazing it with specific examples and formulas. It's not going to be up high in the air, but very hands-on with specific example. And also, fear not, everything I mentioned here, Meir and Karen will send you later in the follow-up email. So you can also feel free to screenshot whatever you need to, but all the links I'm showing and all the formulas I'm showing, I will make sure to send it to you all through Karen and Meir. And the third part will be our toolbox. This is actually my main goal. We're going to run through some other stuff to get to the toolbox, because the toolbox is how to make sure you add connections that are worthwhile, how to draft posts that will create engagement, what is the importance of articles and why do not skip on them, even though it takes just a little bit more work and sometimes you see less engagement, but trust me, you want to have articles on your profile. So as you can see, we have tons to cover, but we'll be efficient and I'll speak really fast. In English, I have to pace myself. In Hebrew, I'm like all over the place. But I will start with kind of a very short introduction. So my name is Noah. I am working around career and branding, both for organization, but also personal kind of branding and career coach. If you guys are from Israel, you probably know my Facebook page, Dana Venoa Tasu Karriera. It's one of the biggest one, maybe the biggest one in Israel. We have about 100K followers and even a higher reach. So I'm not even saying it to, kind of brag, just to say that I've been around career and frustration of, sending out your CVs and not hearing back, or kind of not knowing what you want to be when you grow older, even though, we all kind of are older. So all feelings and all those thoughts are, trust me, I've heard it all. It makes sense. And I'm definitely here to guide you through some of it. It's not my whole career talk. I do many career talks. This is focused on LinkedIn, but I will try to kind of spice it up with some general branding advice and so on. I came actually very originally from education area. I wanted to change the world, and later on I moved into tech. So I definitely know both the private sector and kind of the world of NGO and philanthropy and Jewish philanthropy. I live nowadays in DC. I'm here with my family, my original family. I miss the ocean. I grew up in Haifa, so it's in my vein. And I definitely enjoy good conspiracy theories. That's why COVID sponsored so many, so many of them. My full name is written here on the deck, on the slide. So feel free to search me right now on LinkedIn and we can connect and you can follow up later. I have a special connection to both Haifa and Boston. I grew up in Haifa. Haifa is my favorite city. I think it's the best city in Israel. No one will say otherwise. And I lived in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. So trust me when I say it's the best place in Israel. And I also spent some time at MIT. So it's a very embarrassing photo, but they make you take it. So I also spent some time in Boston. So I feel like I'm connected to both of the sides of this kind of equation, and hope to keep it interesting and enthusiastic. 3 sections. Section 1, we're getting started. The LinkedIn platform. As I mentioned, I'm not going to convince you, but I do want to start with a short story that I hope will convince you why LinkedIn is something you should put your energy on it. So about 1.5 years ago, my toddler son woke up pretty early, and I'm not a morning person. I will not deny, and I will always be honest about it. And when my kids wake up early, I'm kind of, I have no values. I lose it all, and I just hand them either the remote control or my iPhone, and I'm like, whatever, do whatever, watch hour of YouTube. I do not care. I want a nap. I want to steal a couple of more minutes. And that was the case. I handed my 1.5 year old son this phone, and it's password protected, so I didn't give any thought to it. And he did whatever he did, and then we woke up, got dressed to work, and left out to our way. And 2 hours later, I started getting tons of messages saying, "Oh, someone broke into your LinkedIn account. You have to change your password. Go take a look. Someone hacked your account," and so on. And I'm like, "Alert! Oh no, what happened?" And I go there, and I see this. What you see here. It's a post my toddler son wrote. It's amazing because he entered the password of my phone, entered LinkedIn, wrote a post on LinkedIn, and posted. Okay. And in less than 2 hours, he had more than 2,000 viewers. And in Hebrew, it absolutely makes no sense. In English, it semi looked like a rap song. It's a meme my friends made. It's hot here, seems day. I'm gonna blink like a bee, and it became like one of the jokes. And I always tell this story because. And this is kind of a general advice to social media in general. Every time before you hit the send button and you think to myself, should I post this post? Is what I'm writing now valuable? Does my voice has a place in this world? And my answer is yes to all of those questions. Okay, your voice is your own voice, and it's true. There are so many experts to so many topics at the same time. Fine, but no one is you. You are the only one that are you. That you have your own perspective, your own experience, your own thoughts, your own stories. So please don't hesitate. And every time you do hesitate, please remember my 1.5-year-old son getting 2,000 people following him after written really like this really gibberish something. Okay, so just keep that story in mind. What else? LinkedIn is one of the most rapid growing social media out there, has close to 600 million users. Also in Israel. Guys in Israel, I know you're probably thinking, oh, you're facing America. No, it's also in Israel. More than 1.6 million of Israelis are using LinkedIn. And it's a lot, right? We are only 9 million. So it's a lot and it's growing fast. And if there's anyone here also coming from like tech or marketing, you know, the number is not the users, but the active users. And the active users on LinkedIn are more than 40%. People go more than 40% go daily on their profile, okay, to be inspired, to learn something new, to search for a job, to search for workers. I want everyone here on this call to be out there. I always say most people who do not use LinkedIn or other social media as platform to grow their professional network or just their own brand are missing out, okay? You're not playing on the whole court. I want with this LinkedIn shop to make sure everyone here are playing on the whole court and not just a tiny piece of it, okay? And then I will share a hands-on example and why. I'm sure you're gonna be convinced. Okay, so that was just a tiny bit about the platform. I hope you understand why it's such a valuable tool. And now I'm going to really dive deep into our profile. So the LinkedIn profile has many sections, and it is, I think, the best way to think about it is not to think about it just as a regular CV, what usually people think of. You know, they say, oh, your LinkedIn profile is your own CV, but you should look at it more as like your own story, okay? It's a place where you can share photos, videos, text, obviously, and experience and things you're passionate about and hobbies and so on. So just think about it as a way to share your whole story. And I think it's actually an amazing advantage. I saw in the chat that some folks here mentioned that they wanted to change profession from one area to another kind of sector. So this is a great option because your CV might be sometimes a bit flat, right? You can say, oh, I've been 10 years a lawyer. I've been, 6 years QA, and you want to change into another direction. LinkedIn is the way to share a whole story. And a LinkedIn profile, as you see here scrolling in the background, has so many sections at once. I will share with you on the email Kerem and Meir will send you later. This cheat sheet, it's kind of highlighting all the sections. If you're completely oblivious and have no experience, that's fine. I don't want to dwell on it too much now, but I will make sure to send you a very detailed guide to all the different sections. I do want to highlight for today 3 parts, and I will leave the screen just for a minute. Do you see my profile now? Yeah, okay. So I just want to share a couple of, I just want to point what I'm going to share back in the slide. So when you are on your profile, this is how it looks like, right? On the right-hand side, you have an opportunity to see how your LinkedIn looks like for others, to others, and also to edit your URL. It sounds funny, but I also always recommend people to edit your URL, because if you're not, you usually are written, like Noah73099. And sometimes if I want to share, the profile of Kerem on something, if she's a candidate anywhere, or she's my friend and I want to recommend. So it's just like easier if you have like a decent URL. So it's a really tiny tip, but I like saying it because I think it's here, it's on the right, it's hidden so well that no one never knows, this section. So you can edit your profile and also see how it looks from the outside. Back to the profile. What I'm going to highlight is talking about the header, why it is so important. We're going to talk about the summary, why you should not think about it as a summary, okay? And we're going to talk about your own experience, okay? Your background. That's the more part that looks like a CV. Okay, so these are the 3 highlights that I'm going to go on right away. But I also wanted to mention that there is a section here that's called featured. You know what? I'm going to say something before. Even now, when you're on your top of your profile, you have your cover photo. On Facebook, everybody has a cover photo. On LinkedIn, not everybody. I have to say that if you don't have a cover photo, it makes me feel like you're not updated. So if you don't have one, go ahead and change it. And it can send a message that you want to convey. Okay, for example, I like public speaking, as you can guess. And that's why I chose to put, a picture of me speaking in a big conference, because this is the message I kind of want to go through it. If you're a designer, so maybe you want to put something artistic or one of your works. Okay, if you're a coder, you can add, I don't know, a piece of code or something. And if you completely don't have any photo, you can just go to Unsplash. I'll link you later. It's just like a website that you don't have to give credit for like the rights of the photo, and you can write any topic you can think of and get a nice photo, which is not a Shutterstock, but much more human and cool, and just choose a photo and change it according to whatever message you want your profile to send. Okay, done. So we are here. So that's the cover photo. Your profile picture, obviously, again, try and use a professional one. Not cut a picture of yourself from the beach in Haifa, okay, even though you had fun and you think no one sees that, you're like, no, okay, not the one from the wedding. Sometimes also with like the makeup brush, many women do that. Just make sure it's a picture that sends a message. And if you again really don't have one, you can just take one against a white wall. It's better than cutting out of something and kind of put it on to-do list to get one later on. And another something to highlight is the featured. Okay, this is the place when you press this plus, you can add either photos, your own posts, your own articles, links to if you have a blog, if you have a personal portfolio, if you have, I don't know, just a photo, an article you were interviewed to, please make sure to add stuff to your featured. It just, as you can see, again, this all sends a message. If you are searching for a job, it shows you're into things, it shows your, I don't know, interest, it shows your professional background. And again, when you have your professional experience, make sure to add your featured items. It can be photos, and just so you know, it doesn't have to be, if you didn't get a chance to be interviewed anywhere, it could just be links to your own workplace. For example, here, when I worked for a startup, it's also Koli, those in Haifa probably know it. It was in Haifa and Tel Aviv. So I added links to articles that were, about to media items that were on our startup, not necessarily about me. Okay, but you can agree with me that it still tells a better story, especially if you work for a small organization or for a startup that no one knows. Okay, if I now apply to an organization outside of Israel, or if you make Aliyah, I don't know, either way, try and make sure to share a whole story. Okay, I'm going to go back to the experience. Education, obviously, add your own education. License and certifications, if you have education diploma, if you took any courses out there. These are all courses I took on LinkedIn. I highly recommend, they're very good. Volunteer experience, again, don't skip on it. I know it sounds like a weird tip, but let's say that you are volunteering with תנו לחיות לחיות, right? Or anything with animals, or cleaning the oceans, or it can be with youth, we can be with women, we can be with minority, whatever it is. Again, it shares your wider story and interest, and it's a great opportunity to kind of have a vast background of yourself. Skills and endorsement. I don't have time, but endorsement honestly doesn't really matter. Don't pay attention too much to it. Squiz is a very nice feature. It's pretty new, maybe a year old, where you can take a quiz in a specific area of expertise, and it only will give you a badge if you score it in the top 70%. And then it's better than endorsement, because endorsement in some, it's just like, someone endorsed you for like a skill, but it doesn't mean anything. And the skill assessment is actually, you go through an actual test, and it's much better. And I actually heard of someone who was in the screening process to be a programmer, and they skipped a step for him because he had the badge, and I don't know, it was like C++, and they said, okay, you don't have to take this test. So it can actually sometimes really be helpful. Our recommendation, it is something I do recommend for you guys to put an emphasis on it. It doesn't have to be your direct manager. It can be colleague. It can be your, I don't know, people you worked with, people you partnered with, a mentor you had, whatever it is. I do recommend to make sure you have some recommendations, and that's kind of the major parts. Okay, I'm going back to the deck, to the slideshow. And I'm gonna talk a bit longer about the 3 sections I mentioned. So one of them is the header. The header is just the one-liner underneath your name. If you don't actively change your header, it will take your current position. Okay, so let's say you're now marketing or a social worker or whatever it is, it will just take your existing title. But we all, or most of us, or sometimes we have more to share. And what you can do, and again, these are 3 formulas, and I will make sure to send the 10 formulas I suggest later. You can say your role, but you can also say a specific achievement. Okay, let's say you're a published author and a public speaker. So to make a true emphasis, you can say, I gave 50 talks in 2019. And you will agree with me probably that it's more convincing than just say public speaker. Anyone can say public speaker, but if I gave 50 talks this year, I'm probably pretty experienced, okay? Another example would be your specific role, years of experience, and a fun fact, okay? I'm an HR manager. I have 10 plus years of people experience, and I'm a cat fanatic, or I'm a rock climber. Okay, good hobbies, I always say put them on. If you run marathon, if you're a rock climber, if you play chess, all of those fancy hobbies, that's good, okay? It's a good thing to kind of have, and it can be a conversation starter. Again, if you're a blogger, if you just have multiple passions, that's the way to deal with it. You can also, you probably saw on my profile, since I have a very diverse background, I had to kind of squish together. I couldn't put everything I did, but I put some together. So that's the headline, and I do recommend not go with the default. Okay, put time on kind of drafting it. The next part is a summary. Summary, בעברית תקציר, right? So we think a summary. Oh, that means I need to just sum up my whole experience. Okay, let's say I have a 5-year of experience in this and this. I'm an MA in that and that, and I should write that. And so actually that you should add that, but it shouldn't be the focus, okay? If someone wants to read your resume, they will scroll down and see your resume. The idea of a summary is actually, and it's written here on the point 9, it's not what you do, it's why you do what you do. Okay, I will repeat it one more time, not what you do, but why you do what you do. Okay, let's say you're a social worker, so you're probably passionate about empowering individuals. You probably are passionate about equality. You're passionate about making the world a better place, okay? So you can just write, I am a social worker. In the past 5 years, I am a social worker, but you should definitely add what makes you tick, what you do, Okay, and it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't have to be just around social worker. Even if you're, I don't know, a marketing person, so you probably are really into storytelling. And I know that, for example, I'm really passionate about career coaching, and I am really into kind of democratization of career opportunities. I'm really into it because I think so many opportunities are in closed circles, and I'm very passionate in kind of breaking those walls and making it accessible for more and more people. So you probably see that it can make a point much better than just saying, oh, I am a career coach, I am a marketing person, I am a marketer, I am a data scientist, and so on. Okay, so add that on. Round your identity with hobbies. Again, not weird things. I'm saying it because honestly, I've seen it all, but things that make sense. Okay, if you like baking, so maybe it shows that you follow recipes or you're creative. If you like sports, all of the things, it makes sense to put them there and definitely add them on. Again, in a very tight paragraph. Highlight your success. Some people are having a hard time with kind of humble bragging. I say it's not bragging if it's true. Okay, if you did help youth having a brighter future, that's what you did. You should not apologize for that. Okay, if you are very efficient and you help your team achieve higher achievements, achieve their goals, you should say that. Okay, it's okay, and that's a place to do that. Okay, so highlight your success. And one more important thing, and then I'm going to switch to the next part, is frame your past. Okay, frame your past, but talk about the future. And this goes to the person on the chat that said that she wants or he wants to go into data scientists, for example. Our LinkedIn shares our past. It says, okay, I've done this and that, but let's say if I want to change a profession or just within my own area of expertise to kind of deep dive. So I only share the past and not share the future. So what you can say I have 5 years of HR experience. In the last year, I have been taking my MA in, group facilitation, and I am very passionate about, the nonprofit sector or something like that. If you're an HR professional that wants to move into the NGO world. Okay, so that's a good way to kind of have a segue to what you want to do next and kind of showcase potential employers what you're passionate about. So that was the summary and why you should be creative about it. The third part, before we move to the toolbox, is the work experience. Work experience is where you write your experience. So again, most people just write, I am a marketer, I am a brand manager, I am a social worker. Don't stop there, okay? Because if I am a social worker or if I am a marketing person, it doesn't mean anything to the other person. Let's say I'm a marketing person in a startup. So usually I'm a hands-on, right? I'm a hands-on person. I'm a one-woman show. I do everything. I do the email marketing. I do the messaging. I do the interviews. I do the PR. I do it all. But if I'm a marketing person in a big organization, so maybe I have a sub expertise. Okay. So my suggestion to you guys is to use this template. You don't have to use it religiously. Okay. You just can be inspired by it. But instead of writing, I am a marketing person in this and this company, you can say, I run a team of 10 members and we work on 3 projects. Okay, it can even be not just in the private sector. Let's say you are a content developer. Okay, okay, so you can say, I have developed more than 30 curriculum in the past year. I gave more than 50 hands-on workshop in the past year. Okay, everything you can kind of accumulate and put into numbers and put into facts makes your profile better. Okay, and also we want those search words. I'm going to get there in a minute. Here I am, search words. Why do I insist on you guys adding more and more information? Just because buzzwords that are relevant to you will help recruiters find you, okay? And trust me, if you follow those guidelines, you will be found, okay? You will be found. And how do you get to those words? One idea is to list businesses and to look at people that you kind of want to be in their position or interested in working in those areas, and just look at the words they use and use those words. I'm never saying to make things up, but just use their words and use those words into your own profile. Okay, another option at section 4 is to find a job description, okay, a position you're interested in. Look how it's written, okay, how those words are written, how the job is described, and then use that descriptions into your own profile. And this also goes to your CV. When you work on your CV, I always say, change it. Okay, change it every time again. Okay, I know some people here are in the midst of job searching, so make sure to change your profile again and again according to the position you're applying. Not to change the whole thing, but just to use the correct word. Okay, nowadays when we do things, we do a bunch of things. So let's say I ran a budget, I run a team, I write content, I don't know, do so many things at the same time. I'm not going to write, like a LinkedIn of a page just on a specific position. We always highlight 2-3 things. So make sure to highlight those things that you want to be searched by. Okay, why is it so important? Because when a recruiter looks at your profile, this is your profile on the left. At the right, this is how your profile look to recruiters. They see mainly the wording, okay? LinkedIn has a very powerful tool of search. I don't know if you ever tried to search on, I don't know, Facebook or anywhere else. It's impossible. LinkedIn is such a smart search engine that really you will be found if you just use the correct word, and other aspects as well. And this is kind of a general note. Everything related to personal branding, your profile can be a very powerful tool even when you're not in the room. Okay, sometimes let's say I know someone and I know someone is searching for a job, and I have an idea of a candidate in my head, so I will share their profile. And sometimes you are being shared without even knowing. Sometimes as good examples, sometimes as a worthy candidate. And so make sure that your profile shares the story even when you're not in the room. Okay. Another something is to see if you have a sub expertise or something you are known for, and highlight it. Okay, let's say again you're around marketing, but you're very specifically around marketing on Instagram. So make sure, for example, to hide your specific sub expertise. Okay, when you're there was something I wanted to show you. I just want to say it in minutes. Okay. Okay, when you that's the one I missed and I wanted to show you. The search words on your profile, you can actually see what you were searched by. Okay, this is, for example, I'm mostly searched by marketing consultant, marketing advisor, marketing specialist. Okay, and maybe this is what I want people to find me for. But sometimes, especially if you're changing careers or in between stuff, if you're a student and now you're a graduate and so on, you probably want to make sure that you have the right search word. So let's say, for example, I did marketing and now I want to do only career coaching. Okay, so I want to make sure I have more things around career, empowering, mentoring, all those words that probably will help my profile to be searched by. I hope you understand kind of this point goes through, but you can actually check what you are searched by. And I can also show you later on the profile if you're not sure where it is. And these are 2 examples I got on October 29. You can guess on the chat why I got 2 messages on October 29. I did something on my profile that made those people notice my profile, and both on the same date. I don't know if the same time. Anyone, any guesses? I don't know if you're guessing. If not, I'll just say that on October 29 was the date that I changed the location on my LinkedIn. Location is really, really crucial. And I saw on the chat box that some people here made Aliyah, went back to Boston and so on. Make sure to change your location, because when people are searching for candidates, they definitely putting some emphasis on it, but that's actually not the main point of what I want to say. I want to say that due to the fact that I changed the location, I got a job offer and also an offer to speak in a conference. And those two messages has the exact words I use on my LinkedIn. Okay. Christine reached out to me for internal communication conference, and those are words I made sure that I'm gonna have on my profile. And Justin from Zillow, which is it's an amazing company in America. People maybe in Israel don't know of it, but he reached out to me because again, I made sure I had enough times the word employer branding, which is what I did for eBay. So just make sure the correct words are there. Okay, I hope it's kind of going the message. How detailed should the location be? So Natalie is asking for that. Just so you know, LinkedIn actually just changed that, and you can't just write any location. It can actually be a very specific location, and they actually consolidate some locations together. So when I moved, I chose Washington, but now they put all Washington, DC, and Baltimore together. So you have specific options. If you're in Israel, I'd say just you just use Israel in general if you can. Okay, Ellie asked about changing your CV. I will try and maybe go to it later, just because of time. Okay, and these are again 2 other examples for messages I got. These are more concerning the personal branding, and I will stay just a little longer about the message on the right. The message on the right, I was reached out from a big conference. It's called One Young World. I don't know if you know about it. It's like a leadership conference. It's a really big one. Justin Trudeau goes there, and Obama, and people like that. And I think it's a really interesting example because the recruiter, she wrote me because of a project, the Dana and Noah Tasu Karriera, Dana and Noah Make My Career. It's a project that it's all in Hebrew. Okay, it's all in Hebrew, but I made sure to write it on my profile in English and actually to open a business page to Dana and Noah. I have hardly any followers there. I don't care of having any followers there, but I wanted to make sure that I'm able to share a specific story, even though it's in Hebrew, in English. And she didn't care it was in Hebrew. She still got the point of it. And I think it's an interesting example, especially for those folks here who are from Israel and sometimes have, achievements that are in Hebrew. So don't hesitate to kind of translate the essence and make sure, that you share your story and don't be alarmed that, it's like in Israel or anything. Okay. Quickly to the last part, just so you know, you have a dashboard on your LinkedIn profile and you can see how you are doing. Again, you don't have to check it every day. It doesn't matter if you went up 10% or down 9%. The idea is that you have this information on Facebook and other social media. You don't get this amount of information, okay? You know where the people who looked at your profile work, you know what they do. It's just amazing data, okay? And you can also know who they are if you pay premium or just some of them, which again, it's very interesting. Okay, the last part, and I know I don't want to take too much of the the subgroups later, so I'll be pretty quick. It's the toolbox. Okay, I want to talk to you about your presence. I want to talk to you about posts and articles, and if we have time, I can share more, and maybe we'll stop there. Okay, so I'll show you later about the keywords. I'll open the profile once again. Okay, an active LinkedIn presence. I would say the most important tip here is number 3. Okay, to post regularly so you'll be consistent. It's even more important than how long your posts are. Okay, don't just write, gibberish or rubbish. Makes sense, okay? But just be consistent. That's the most important thing. It's like you say about, sports or yoga. Your best practice is your daily practice, okay? You don't want to remember LinkedIn once a month, once a year, and then do something, okay? You want to try and have a habit. The habit I suggest to you guys is write a post once a week and have an article once a month, okay? If you're really not into it, okay, so once every other week, okay? But make sure to post regularly. The good thing is posts are so short on LinkedIn. It's just 1,300 notes. It's about 2 paragraphs, okay? Just 1,300 tavim. It's really short. It's tiny. It's a good news, actually. It's not exhausting. And the good days are Tuesday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Okay, it's not intuitive. That's why I'm mentioning this, because you think on social media, you're mostly active, I don't know, morning, evenings, and so on. But because LinkedIn is a professional social media network, so the times are actually work times. So definitely aim there. Don't post on Shishi, on Shabbat, on weekends. Okay, it's not the heat. You don't want to. Okay, it's not. I don't think it even looks so good. Okay, so make sure to do it on weekdays and work times. Obviously, tightly written. As you can see, English is not my native language. Every time I post articles, I make sure to have someone who's native to go through it. That's why Kerem and Meir had, this amazing idea to have the breakout rooms later. You can actually, have your pen pal, your buddy friend, either from Israel or from Boston, and make sure you have, a friend from overseas to go over your profile. So use this asset. It's really amazing. Or just use, someone who knows and go through your text. LinkedIn obviously reward you for staying in the platform and for leaving others in the platform. So let's say if you have outsourced blog, or you have a YouTube channel, or just, I don't know, any article, you probably understand that LinkedIn would want you to leave people there. So it's better to upload a video to LinkedIn than send someone on YouTube, okay, to have a YouTube link on your profile again, or a picture, or so try and have a native content into the platform. Okay, I hope it makes sense. I'm sorry, I'm rushing it a bit. The LinkedIn algorithm will reward you for leaving people in the platform. And actually the most important time is the 1 hour after you post your post or post your article. The system, okay, it's not a person, the system, the algorithm will decide what the score you are ranked, okay, your profile, your post, by the engagement. At first, it shows you to numerous amounts of people, and if they interact with you, so he shows you to more. And actually, the good news about LinkedIn, your post can be live there for 2 or 3 days. That's amazing. On Facebook and Instagram, it's a matter of hours, sometimes even minutes. And LinkedIn, it can be live for many days. So my suggestion to you guys, and it's like an inside tip, after you post your post, make sure you have like 30 minutes available and interact, okay? Connect to other people, send messages, comment on other people's articles, okay? Because the instinct is if you comment on someone, they get a notification, and then they go into your profile and they see your post and they liked him, okay? So you just create those kind of bonds in between, okay, in behind the scenes. So that's a bit about the algorithm. I will also send you a link to a full explanation about the algorithm. The last 2 things I'm going to say, and then I'm going to pause, is about the posts and the article. Let's say I convinced you to write, okay? The triangle you see here is a typical triangle of social media. Most people are lurkers, okay? Nothing bad, right? You're just passive. And the just top 10% are contributors, and just the 1% are creators, okay? Most of people are just scrolling through their feed, and some people do share, comment, and so on, and just a few are creators. This is specifically true on LinkedIn. You have more readers nowadays than writers. So if you choose to be active, you will be rewarded, okay? And you can say to me, okay, no, I'm convinced. What do I write? Tell me what to write. So one thing to write, and I call it the time machine technique, is anything you've done, even in the past, okay? It's especially true for COVID because we're not going anywhere. It can even be this talk, okay? You can write a post and say, I just finished an amazing LinkedIn workshop with CJP, and here are the 3 main takes, okay? LinkedIn is not the place to brag. I know it sounds like it's contradicting, but LinkedIn is the place to share knowledge. So you can say, oh, I was invited to speak in a conference, but here are the 5 takes I gave there. Okay, here are the 5 main points. Here are the 3 tips. Working from home is a nightmare. Here are 3 tips how to ease the pain. Okay, any of those work. Numbers, do this to achieve this. Avoid this for. Okay, all of this, people love those things. Okay, they love it. So it's pretty easy. And the time machine, you can even say, let's say you presented in a conference 2 years ago, now COVID, I'm not going anywhere. You can say, this day, exactly 2 years ago, I had an honor to present my work. I graduated Haifa University, all of those things. This is time to do it. And the most amazing thing about the time machine technique is that no one knows when was it really. Okay, it was 8 months ago. You can say it was a year ago. It was 5 years ago. You can say it was exactly. Okay, so that's a good thing. You can just kind of share with a kind of a specific highlight. And the last thing I'd say would be around LinkedIn articles. As I said, posts are short. LinkedIn articles are much longer. They're so easy, so easy. It's like drag and drop. Okay, you really open your LinkedIn on the home page, and you can either do a post or an article. You don't have to ask permission from anyone. You just post it. It can be as long as you want. The highlight of LinkedIn article is that it's indexed to Google. What it means that if I'm looking for tips how to work from home, how to sit correctly in a chair, how to, I don't know, balance work life, I can actually find you through Google. That's amazing because it's not working on posts. It's only on articles. If you write article, it can actually be found on Google and people can reach your content through it. Many of the tips I shared here with you, and I'm going to send you the links later, are links that I got to LinkedIn through a regular Google. So that's why you should pay attention and put the time to it. People always say, oh, LinkedIn article, such a low engagement. That is true. It's lower engagement than post, but it's so much better for the long run. Okay. And the last thing I would say is that LinkedIn is a long run opportunity. Okay, not everything you see, okay, not everything you do now will land you the job you want tomorrow. Not everything will give you, to speak in a conference next week. But if you create and you communicate pretty typical and so on, pretty consistently, you will be once again noticed, and you will find connections. And this is again adding connection. You can pretty much add everyone. That's okay. Not anything that looks suspicious. But the most important thing is actually to be active in adding people from your own network. Okay, the one that mentioned that she wants to be a data scientist, so adding people that work in an organization that you want to work there, that will be good. Adding people that do what you want to do. Okay, and it's very easy. You go on the search, you write data scientists, and you can either choose people, work, content, and you'll just find those to you, and you can just connect. And the idea is to reach out with a specific request, not use the default messages here on the right. Use messages that you really mean. Okay, if people are doing things that you value, if someone you got to them through a mutual friend, all of those things will help your message and your request to be approved. Okay, never ever use the default message. It's bad. Okay, just use one of those. And again, I'll share the example once again later, but you can say what you admire about their work. You have a similar background. We both are from Haifa. We both are from Boston. We both, I don't know, been to a delegation and so on. And here I wanted to share another story, and I will finish with that, and we'll go into groups. And if I have time, I'll share more later. There was a workplace I really wanted to work at. It was in America. I was in Israel back then, and I knew no one there. And I did everything I tell you. I wrote the CEO. I wrote someone Israeli who was working there, and I got no reply. And I was really kind of obsessed with them. And I didn't know what to do next. And so I just messaged very genuinely someone who was head of community there. And I did community marketing in my past experience. And so I said, I really admire what you do. I think it's fascinating. I didn't lie. Okay, I meant it. But obviously I reached out to her because of where she worked. And she wrote me back, as you can see, and she said, oh, you're interesting. So your experience is so interesting. Let's have a virtual coffee. And we did. And I'm not going to say we did not become best friends or anything, but afterwards we had a connection. And when they had an opening, she gave my name. I actually got a call. I didn't even think about them anymore. And just because of that, because I made, like a genuine connection, she thought about me, and I was in a screening process that did not turn out the way I wanted for several months. But my point is still the same. I got an opportunity I would not get otherwise. Otherwise, I would just try and submit resume, through their website, and would never hear back from them. And this way, using, connection, using search word correctly, use everything I showed you now, using my experience also correctly because she understood something about me and wanted to chat with me. Created something I did not had before, and that's kind of the main point. Not everything you do here, will explode in minutes, but some of it may, and it's more than we had before, especially during these days, which are more challenging, right? During COVID days. I'm gonna stop here and now and say that just keep in mind that the reason why sometimes we struggle with insecurity, especially on LinkedIn, it's because we compare our behind the scene, right, our backhand, with everyone else highlight reel. And just remember that when you look at someone's profile, he spent days and days on polishing it, and now I'm here with my pajama at home and my kids are screaming, and I look at someone else's and I'm like, oh no, I'm never going to get there. So don't think about it, just be loyal to your story, to your truth, just share it, and I'm sure it's gonna work. Okay, I'm gonna stop the share and I'm gonna give the lead back to Kerem and Neil.
Wow, thank you so much, Noah. That was incredible. That was a lot of really useful suggestions and just a lot to take in. Hope everyone found that as useful as I did. So now let's put some of those ideas into practice. In a few moments, we're going to send everyone to smaller breakout rooms of around 3 to 4 people per room. The breakout rooms will give you a chance to meet new people. So we'll be expanding your network right here and now, and be coaches to take what you've learned to help each other with feedback on each other's LinkedIn pages and with other things related to job searching. Yeah.
So we'll send the instruction in the chat, but after you introduce yourself, you will share with your breakout room something that you're looking for help with. It could be help writing or editing a section of your LinkedIn page, a connection that you want to make, feedback on your cover photo, or anything that will help you to get what you want out of today's session. We'll spend 25 minutes in breakout rooms before coming right back here to the main session. If you have any technical difficulties, just send a note in the chat to me or to Meir, and we would love to help you. So Noah, can you please share a few examples before we'll send everyone into a breakout rooms?
Yeah, of course. So one thing, it can be related to, just language, okay, helps to someone else to take a look at your kind of profile. It can be thinking together, okay, if you're doing a couple of things, so you don't know what you should put first on your header, or if thinking of your summary and how to kind of share your story more efficient. So anything around those can be good. You can just, introduce yourself and also find each other on LinkedIn and make sure we can keep in touch later.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. So in a few minutes, Meir will spread all of us, and good luck, everyone.
Time getting to know folks from out of my country, city, and so on. So it's really amazing, and I hope to keep in touch. I'll search you, the ones who are on the team with me. So I would say very simply, one would probably be consistent. Okay, it's more important because that's how your profile is ranked. So just put it as a habit. It's okay. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece anytime. It's not your PhD. Okay, it's just your social media. That's one. Two, remember, it's a long run relationship. Okay, so do things now, even if you think you'll be searching for a job in a year. Okay, so that's okay. It's meaningful connections and relationships. The third would be to put some time into it and learn it. We'll send information. You already did the first step and you came here on this workshop, but don't leave it just to this. Things develop, and a new feature on social media happens all the time. Things change and so on. So make sure to kind of keep up to date. The fourth would be definitely to have a list or to think of places that someday, okay, not tomorrow, not this year, if you're not in a job search process, places you think you would want to work maybe in the future, and start adding those people now. Also adding recruiters, HR professionals. Do it now, okay? It's again for the long run, but do it wisely. Do it with intention. That would be the word. And I guess the 5, okay, cliche, please forgive me, but I have to kind of be yourself in there, okay? And be yourself, like a nice yourself, okay? A polished yourself. Definitely be inspired by other profiles, but I mean, if you're passionate about something, just put it there, and put your experience together. Do make sure it's written tightly and nicely, but the most important thing is to kind of have your, if you're passionate about something, put the passion there. If you're really good in, I don't know, video, so you can have more of that. If you're good at any other kind, so just put it there. And yeah, and I look forward to be in touch with as many of you as possible. And thank you again, Meir and Kerem. It was a great opportunity and a wonderful group.
Thank you, Noah. That was awesome. And